I was actually kind of leaning towards a little bit. Like I said, I'm not friends with Anthony Smith, but I was like, man, he's at a plus 300 last fight. Let's see how he does.
Yeah,
I'm happy I didn't put any money on him, but I also in my mind I was like, man, I thought for some reason that he was gonna just do. I thought he was gonna have a little bit better outcome. I was hoping he would. I mean, I did a video.
I was hoping he
on my
would.
social and stuff, and I'm like, man, just not realizing that how long he's been fighting.
Yeah.
Did you see in that video that they did for him? You could see the changes of his body.
Oh yeah,
and just he had such a small waist, broad shoulders, and and then just the strike force days, all these things. Like just seeing him fight, I'm like, damn man, I can't believe I remember that. Oh shit, I remember that.
Yeah,
like
I remember that. I was there.
I remember that. Oh what?
Yeah.
60 fights later, I remember that. Right? Like
That's it.
But man, it's been a pleasure to watch him fight, and definitely I feel like he needed to be paid homage to, and I felt the need like today because I think what it was though too is realizing that he has his fight, tonight being his fight where he understood he was retiring, and then Dustin Poirier also just announcing like, hey, this is for sure my last dance.
Yeah,
those type things like the mental preparation is okay. Look, I've already agreed to myself in my mind this is it.
Yeah,
and just seeing that, wondering how and wondering how much that's going to affect them in their ability to like, I'm going to train a little bit harder. I'm going to do a couple more rounds. There's the stress is relieved. Like I know that no matter what happens, I've done everything I possibly could. I'm going to enjoy this moment. It could work both ways. It could be like you fight carefree, but then also work against you, or because you don't fight with that level of intenseness, or for some fighters, like for myself, when I felt like I could just flow and smile and have a good time, man, those were my best performances. And so I felt that coming in when I was watching him make the walk and everything like that. But then when he got in the cage and they were talking about it, it switched. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I like that. Because now
but you had to know.
Serious.
Like the UFC does this all the time. And it's nothing against, it's just the way promotions work. Mm-hmm. And you know this, and you've seen not only yourself have these situations, but your fellow training partners have these situations and everything. And, there's all kinds of things to talk about off of this show, but, a promotion is paying someone like Anthony Smith pretty well. Anthony's worked his way into the point where he's making good money. And he even said that after, the fight and everything, they changed his life. He was, never had anything, but he was able to raise his family based upon his fighting career. And that really was, a lot of it at the end with the UFC, and, they treated him well. And the promotion does, when you're doing well and you're getting up to the point of fighting for world titles or, number one contender things, which he did in all those, they take care of you, but the matchmakers are always heartless. And when I say heartless, I say that they're the ones that are responsible for a lot of, okay, we're paying so-and-so this, we're matching up against here, all these numbers and everything. It's not just the matchups. It's also the money that goes out for those matchups. And they look at someone like Anthony Smith and say, look, I can't give you, an easy opponent because you're making too much. I've got to give you a real person, because if you win this fight, yeah, you're saying you're going to retire, but yeah, you'll win the fight. And the next thing I'm going to get is a phone call saying, hey man, you know what? I'd really like to do one more. And so now I'm going to have to pay you again if I give you the one more. And so I got to give you a real fighter. If you can beat the real fighter, then you can beat the real fighter. But I'm either going to, I'm going to get something either way. I'm either going to get you, you're going to, get your win, and then you're going to, either call me or not, or I'm going to have someone that I think is a rising star, and I'm going to have them, have a fight against you so that I can have highlights off of, and I can use everything that you've done throughout your career to say, this guy beat him. And it's the reality of fighting, and it's not pretty and it's not nice, but it's just the truth.
Yeah, I mean, the promotion goes on. No one's bigger than the sport.
When you looked at it, it was, hey, Anthony Smith has had a hell of a career, but when you're taking a look at a guy who has fought that many fights, 60 fights basically, you know, and you're that age now, and now you're going against the younger guy who is the up and comer. The odds are against you, you know, and this is nothing against Anthony Smith. Has had a hell of a career and has had some big wins against some great competitors, but we say it all the time. Father Time is undefeated, you know, and you can sit there and say, well, Father Time kind of helped Alexander Volkanovski in his last fight again. You know, he did good, but you could see even in Volkanovski and his win against Diego Lopez, there was signs of he's changing as a fighter. He's not the same guy. He's not the guy who beat Max Holloway the first time. He's not the guy that just beat down Chad Mendez. He's not that guy anymore. He has to fight differently. Well, it's the same for Anthony Smith in this situation. And going against Zhang, you're looking and going, it's going to be a hard fight for him to win. He's got to get the fight to the ground. And he tried. You know, it really, that elbow that landed was one of those slicing elbows. But right away, as soon as you saw him get cut and then you saw him wipe at his eye once, that's okay. When he wiped it a second time, you went, he's got problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, again, you know, I'm nothing against him. When you have blood in your eye, it's gooey. It's a film, and it's tough to see through that film. You know, you get this little red haze and everything, and once you can't see in a fight, odds are working against you big time, and everything just kind of fell down from that point. And again, he's facing a young, strong, fast, and heavy hitting opponent, and he just, you know, he's not fast enough at this point in his career to be able to deal with it. It's just what it is. I look at it and I say, you know, Anthony Smith, you had a hell of a career. You came from being a guy that was only a kickboxer that was getting beat by people, to being a hell of a grappler, to being a hell of a mixed martial artist, to having a hell of a career, to being, you know, I guess, you know, as Chael said, one word away from being a world champion. And God bless you for not saying that word. And that shows everything about your character as a person. You've been fantastic. You've done things that I've always been proud of you for doing. You took care of your family in situations in your home. You know what? You're a great representative for what a mixed martial artist should be. And you've had a hell of a career. Congratulations on that career. I thought the UFC did a great job with, you know, the compilation that they put together. It looked good. Brought a tear to my eye watching him from all the Strike Force things and everything that he came from. It was great. So
watching his coaches get so emotional after his wins, like you see that the responses, I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool. Look, I mean, I didn't realize, John, think about this. I've been retired for 5 years, almost, I think going on 6 or whatever it is.
More than that, yeah.
Dude, he's 36.
Yeah.
I thought he was like, not saying that it, but I'm just saying he's been fighting for so damn long. I thought he was like closer to 40.
Yeah.
I know, like, he still looks good, like, you know, but I just, in my mind, I'm like, man, you got that many fights and you're retiring. I didn't even think about his age until they said he's 36. I'm like, what? I thought he was like 39, 40, 41, somewhere in there. I'm like, okay, it makes like Glover, right? 41, we're retiring when he's 41, 42, whatever. Yeah. You know, I was thinking, and normally at the heavier weight classes, they go until they're 38, 39, 40, 41. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like lighter guys, they're not able to do that because of the speed. But man, think 60 fights and he's only 36. That's crazy. That's crazy. But overall, I think Zhang had a good fight. He had a good performance. The kicks right off the bat were definitely started shaping how the fight was going to go. Then the blood and the cut, and like you said, the wiping of it. And when you guys realize that when you wipe it, it doesn't do anything. It just the puddled up part out of your eye. Yeah. You know, but you still have blood in your eye, but you get the puddled up part, like that's kind of hanging around your eyelid and stuff. That goes away. Yeah. So it's like having water, except it's a little bit thicker and gooier there. You know, it's a very crap situation. So when you do wipe it the first time, it actually just makes it like more of a red haze, like John was saying. You get like a halo around your eyeball of just red. So it makes it even more difficult. Yeah, it sucks that he went out that way, but you know what? He's been a long career, and You know, the UFC likes him, so he'll continue to probably do some work at the desk, and he does
a good job at that.
He does a great job at the desk, and yeah, man. Best of luck to Anthony Smith in his next chapter. I was hoping you'd come out on top tonight, but unfortunately, no. But hey, still, regardless, it's been a pleasure, man, watching you your whole career, and I want to wish you nothing but the best in the next chapter. And yeah, moving on. This episode is brought to you by BetUS. Make sure you guys YouTube 150 for the promo code. Also, Element, use the link in the descriptions down below. Any product you buy from there, they will send you a bonus package of product if you use our link down below. Element's amazing, man. I love it. And I want to say thank you, man. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support us.